All right, what's going on, everybody? I This is normally not the type of content that I like to, put out there, but this is some of my main interests in my life, and I just thought I would make a video of it. I love watching channels on YouTube. Love watching channels on YouTube that broadcast different outdoor gear, camping gear, just survival prepper stuff, and I really love the knife section of it. And this is where the majority of my interests of these items has come from, pretty much. I mean, literally, that's literally what I can pretty much say where it's come from. So today we're going to be looking at some of my favorite fixed blade knives. A lot of them span from bushcraft knives, survival, camp. That's, I would say, and some like EDC knives. I mean, where I live, according to the laws, you can carry all these knives. That hadn't always been the case, but the largest knife I have today that I'm going to show you is about a 7-inch blade. The smallest is probably about 3-inch, I think. I don't know. I don't know all the specs for all these knives, the size, the length of them, the width, the thickness, but this is just going to be like a show and tell, because I've been wanting to make a video like this, just kind of showcasing my favorite fixed blade knives. So, all right, let me prepare myself, get a drink of lemon water. That's what I like to drink, is lemon water. Let me check my focus here. Okay. Right off the bat, I'm going to show you a knife that I grew to like about, let's see, when was this? Probably about 5 years ago. I credit my interest and just influence I credit this to Chris over at Prepared Mind 101 on his YouTube channel. And I have to say, the first time I was introduced to this knife, it was in his ammo box survival kit video, literally where he was just putting together, he had bought a Cabela's ammo box, and it's just a cheap $8, $10, $12 ammo box, plastic ammo box, and he just filled it up with different survival items. And the knife, the fixed blade knife that he put in the box and was able to put in the box, is a Tops Brothers of Bushcraft knife. This is the Brothers of Bushcraft Fieldcraft. It was put out by Brothers of Bushcraft, and I really don't know much about those guys, or even if it's what it is really. I just know that it sounds a lot like a group, and this is a very, just kind of a well-rounded mid-size, maybe, I guess that's what you would call it. This is about a let's see, at least a 4-inch blade. The thickness is, I believe, 0.20. Thickness is 1095 steel, and it It has black G10 handles. These handles were, I mean, there's different variants of the knife. There's different blade steels, and I've got another variant that I will show shortly. But this one is just like just like the one I was introduced to in that Ammo Box Survival Kit video, and it's such a, I really don't know why he picked it, mainly because it fit in that Ammo Box, the container that he was using for that particular kit in his video, and it's just an all-around good knife. I mean, it's not too big. Now, of course, with the thickness, it's got a good weight to it. It's not too light duty. It's not too heavy, but it does have some weight to it, to where if you wanted to hold it like this for some light chopping, you could definitely get that done. It is 1095 high carbon steel. The grind on it looks like a high Scandi. And let me just cover this. Anybody that's watching this video, don't use this as an information video. This is strictly just me showing off the different knives that I've got. So don't use this as take it to the bank info kind of video. So terminology, all that stuff, can't be, taken to be exactly what it is. So the grind is very similar to a Scandi grind, and but it's not a zero. I guess you call it a zero edge, maybe, where it's a true Scandi. It's got a modified edge on it, where it's got a convex edge, and so it's not a true Scandi, but it's got a in between about a Scandi to about a Saber-ish grind on it, and oh my goodness, I absolutely love carving with this knife. Even though this one has yet to be used in the field any. I just haven't. I live in Texas, and oh my goodness, it's a bit humid, and it's in during the summer months, where it's about 92 in the upwards of the day right now. So it's not exactly ideal for me, at least for me to be out playing with knives, messing with knives, being in the outdoors and actually enjoying it. So that's one of the reasons why some of these knives really haven't shown any use, or I haven't used any of them. So anyway, it's got about a Scandinavian grind with a convex edge on it, black G10 handles, and this sheath that came with the knife is a Kydex sheath, and the ferro rods, and I put this shock cord loop on here so it can have some better retention on the sheath. This this ferrocerium rod, that they used to come when I had my first Tops Bob Fieldcraft, about 4+ years ago. They used to come with a combo ferro rod, where it had 2 magnesium rods, just three different rods, 2 magnesium and 1 ferro, to where you could scrape it off and use some of not magnesium, use that magnesium to start a fire. Well, I'm so glad that they changed things up a bit, and this looks to be about at least a 1/4 inch thick ferro rod, and I absolutely love it. Like I said, I haven't used this one yet, but it's oh my goodness, I just love the idea of that one so much better than than the the so many other rods within one. So there's this one kind of the reason why I'm showing this one is it represents my first Tops Bob Fieldcraft, and anyway, just thought I would start off with that one. And it's got a a spring clip on the back of the sheath where you can take it on and off of your belt, and it's very and check this out. Listen to that click. It's got awesome retention into the sheath, and since I am talking about the Tops Fieldcraft, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the next variant that I have of this knife. This one I bought actually before I bought the other one. I have a terrible tendency. Excuse me, let me take a drink. I have a terrible tendency to be impatient, and that's not crazy about that, but I am working on it in regards to knives and other things, where I'm, instead of just going ahead and buying something all out, actually saving up for it. And I mean, I'm 31 years old, and that's sad that I can't say that I have mastered that yet, but I'm working on it. So anyway, this next variant to the Tops Bob Fieldcraft is in 154 cm steel, and it's the same dimensions. It's pretty much the same knife, or what am I saying? It is the same knife, like the previous one. Now the handle scales on this one is a bit thicker, and it's versus the previous one was black G10 handles, and these are micarta. I really don't know much about the differences in manufacturing, or the just the all-out differences to describe exactly the differences, but I do have to say I do prefer these handles on this one that I have on the table more, because they're thicker, and they feel in your hand, and they're more rounded, and it's just a much more comfortable handle. It just it fills my hands more, and it's just so much more comfortable and to use. These are a lot more comparable to the handles that was on the Tops Bob Fieldcraft knife that I had in 1095 a little over 4 years ago. I had traded it for a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. A local guy likes the same things that I do, and he I think I put it up for not for sale, for trade, and he's like, "Hey, I got a Paramilitary 2. Would you be interested in trading?" And after we met up and looked at both of our knives, and we made a trade. So, but with that being, a Tops Fieldcraft Bob Fieldcraft knife, these being those, I was just like, what, I want another one. So this one I got a day before. I had just ordered that black G10 one in 1095 on Amazon, and I was like, what, I've seen the others in 154 cm, and I was like, I've never had anything this thick and durable in a stainless steel, and the edge retention is a bit higher, maybe even double than 1095, and on top of the fact that you don't have to worry about corrosion, it rusting as easily. I mean, it's a stainless steel, so I was like, I've got to have one of those. So I went to the Army store in Dallas, and that was actually the place that I bought my first Tops Bob Fieldcraft, and the previous the first, oh, got a message on Facebook. Um, my first Bob Fieldcraft knife was actually bought from the Army store there in Dallas, and it had about the same handles that this one does, um, but it was in 1095, and it had the same partially coated blade as the previous one that I just showed you. It was in 1095, had about the same handles as this one, um, so it was, practically the same knife, with the exception of the blade steel. And this one is just, it's got such a neat look to it. It's got the tumbled, I guess that's what it's called, the tumbled kind of stone wash, maybe, finish on the other parts of the blade, whereas, right here on the grind, it's just, polished steel, or ground steel, however you want to call it. And this one is the same model as the previous one. It's got a modified, I guess they call it a modified Scandi, but with the convex edge. And yeah, absolutely love this knife. It's one of my favorites, and this is why I am showing it. And just listen to this retention. Oh yeah, isn't that good? That's great. All right, my next knife. Let's see here. Let's see, what can we show next? I'm gonna go. Let's go with the next one that I have used the most, I would say, is oh my goodness, this company they make artwork when it comes to custom knives. These are literally custom, I guess you call them custom. It's they're made by hand. The grind, they may be CNC cut. The blanks may be CNC cut. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but I know that the grind of the edges are done by hand, and the handles are finished by hand, and they're just fantastic knives. And this one is an LT Wright GNS in 01 tool steel. This is a bushcraft knife, and oh my goodness, I just can't say enough about this knife. These knives are made famous by your true outdoorsman. Anybody that just wants to totally just immerse themselves in nature, the outdoors, the complete, the true woodsman. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is the person that would use a tool like this. And I have to say, without a doubt, arguably some of the best, if not the best, handles I have ever used on a knife, period. It's well rounded. There's no hot spots. You have this, it's almost like it was made specifically, like you were born to have it, in a way. And this knife, and along with the grind, this is a Scandinavian grind as well. This was a true Scandi, I think. I don't think there's a small bevel on the edge, but this is literally meant for woodworking. Wood crafting, bushcraft. That's exactly what bushcraft means, and it's I can't say enough about it. The handles, the scales on this particular model is green polished micarta. I think it's polished, and they say green on the website, but they look brown to me. So I don't know why they call it green. Maybe it's dyed a certain way. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I know it's micarta, and this particular model is in O1 tool steel. They offer A1, CPM 3V, just a plethora of different knife steels for these. For these, and I can't remember if I did say what the name of it was. An LT Wright. It's the LT Wright GNS, the Go No Show, and this I just can't say enough about it. The spine is a 90-degree spine. It's fantastic for processing tinder, scraping a ferro rod. It's just something that you don't really think about much in knives, but in this type of knife, I mean, it's just it goes hand in hand, no pun intended. And when it comes to having a being able to process wood and scraping tinder to start a fire, that 90 degree spine just goes beautifully, and is very useful, incredibly useful in being multi-use, a multi-use tool when that is included. So this sheath is I forgot what company makes these, but LT Wright doesn't make these. They use a company to make their sheaths, and it's got you can see it's got a loop for riding a little bit higher on your belt loop, or a dangler, which I usually use for whenever I carry it, because I just love it whenever it's riding a lot lower to where my shirt can go over, and I can just grab it a lot easier instead of having to go up a little bit higher. So, and it's got a ferro rod loop. This is a ferro rod that I got in a trade from a gentleman that lives like in North Carolina, I think. Michael is his name, and I just threw that ferro rod in there because it's if not the best, one of the best, or if not one of the best ferro rods I've owned. So this, can't say enough about this knife. It's such a dream. I think it is the most comfortable knife I've owned. Of course, I have cheaper Mora knives, but this one, it's superb. So that's the LT Wright GNS. Okay, to continue the same theme we got going here with bushcraft knives. I mentioned Mora, so I'm going to go ahead and show the only Mora that I have in this category. This is a Mora Garberg in carbon steel, and this sheath, it didn't come with that sheath. It's a sheath that I picked up at a local knife store, and it's actually made for Mora knives, and it's I think it was like, I don't know, $6, $8, something like that, $7, I don't know, but it's a whole lot easier and just easier to use than the original plastic molded sheath that the Garberg came with. So I was like, you know what, to kind of make it a little traditional looking, I went ahead and put it in this leather sheath. This Mora knife, I guess that's what you call it. A lot of people say just Mora, and that's what I usually say. This Mora knife has two variants. This one's the carbon steel variant, and it's got a blued finish to cut down on the oxidation, rusting, all that stuff, and frankly, I think it looks cool. I had the other option to go with the stainless version, which is, I think they went with Sandvik. I believe, I'm pretty sure that's what Mora goes with whenever they make their stainless knives. But I was like, you know what, I like the look of this blued carbon steel variant, so I went ahead and went with the carbon steel knife, carbon variant. And this one is a full tang, whereas a lot of the Moras aren't. One of the reasons why I picked this one up is it's just one of those that it stands out. A lot of Moras are known to be fantastic budget knives, and really when it comes down to it, this one is still a bit budget. I got this one on sale, and it was about, I don't know, $60, $20 off from what it usually is. I got it on Amazon. That's where I usually get my knives. And I was like, so I had to get it because it was about at least $20 discount. And it's again, this one has one of my favorite handles as well. It's it just, it envelops the hand very well, and it just, yeah, there's really no other thing to say about it. It's got a 90-degree spine as well, just like the LT Wright, so it serves well for scraping bark, scraping a ferro rod. It's just another good Scandi grind, full tang, tough bushcraft, outdoor, camping, even an EDC knife. That would it would even qualify for that. So there's that one. My next, I'm gonna take. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show this one. This one is a fairly new acquired knife. I don't just buy my knives. I love trading for them, and I've traded numerous knives within the last 5 or so years, and thank God, I am so thankful that every single bit of the trade deals has been successful. There hasn't been anybody that's wanted to burn me or do right. So I'm incredibly fortunate and thankful for that. Anywho, this next knife is an ESEE PR4, and this is the sheath that it's in is, I believe, made by the same company that makes the sheaths for LT Wright, same knife that I showed you earlier. But this knife doesn't normally come this way. I highly doubt that I would even own this knife with the stock handles, the scales, whatever you want to call it, because there's a lot of just like it's a very rough stock handles. But these were bought from the Knife Connection online along with this sheath, and these handles are burlap micarta, and I realized this is incredibly this backdrop for this right on what the knife is laying on just suits it well, because the handles are burlap, and the backdrop, I guess you call it, what it's laying on, the top of the table here is a burlap sack. And this one, very similar to the other two bushcraft knives that I have shown. It's in 1095 steel. A lot of the knives that ESEE makes is in 1095 steel, and I traded another ESEE knife that I got for Christmas, and whenever I got it, I started holding the handle, and I just like, oh goodness, the handle was very rounded, it was very comfortable, but the handle towards the front of the handle was cut off for according to their design, it was cut off, and whenever I would hold it and try to get a close up, hold on the knife, it would, my finger and thumb would hang over, and I can't stand handles like that. I like the whole the whole handle to for my hand to just be wrapped around it completely, nothing hanging over, nothing, and it just completely being consumed, if you will, with my hand. And had it for about 8 months, and I was like, you know what, didn't even use it. So I wanted to try to find someone that wanted, it was an SE4HM, wanted to try to find someone that wanted one, but wanted or had something else they wanted to trade, and boom, I found someone on the SE North American group on Facebook, and so fortunate that I found a specific configuration that I really wanted in a knife, and he wanted the other. It worked out beautifully. It really did. And this one mainly I guess fits in the category of bushcraft, camp, I guess just all around. It could fit as an EDC knife, but mainly camp knife, bushcraft, and the overall shape of this knife is inspired by the Kephart, I think Lewis, is that the guy's name? Lewis Kephart? Anyway, that's Kephart was named after the blade shape. It's called Kephart, and it's named after a gentleman that that was incredibly knowledgeable and wrote books and was just a very notorious outdoorsman. I think his name was Lewis Kephart. Anyway, don't quote me on that. I just know the last part, the Kephart style, and that's exactly what this type of blade shape is. The Kephart, it's got a middle kind of spear point in a way, to where it center lines the point, and it's perfect for making bow drills. And that's exactly what this little divot in the handles on both sides here, that's what that's for, is a bow drill divot, to where you hold the stick and you're able to make a bow and create a friction in hopes to create an ember, to where you can place it in your tinder bundle and start your own fire. And now, have I ever used these handles on these knives to make a friction fire, to start a fire from a bow drill? I've tried it a little bit with my SE5, and I can't even believe why I haven't even included that one in this this video. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because just currently I'm not really messing with that one right now. I've got other likes right now, but it has a bow drill divot in the micarta scales on it as well, and I don't know, it may be just one of those things where they just want to like throw that in. I definitely don't have much of a use for it now. If there was if I had no option for a friction block for the top of a to a top of a friction stick in a bow drill set, would I like to have it? Perhaps, but is the chance high that I would actually use it that way? No, it's not. But let's see. What have I haven't said about this knife? It's in 1095 steel, carbon steel, and a 90-degree spine. This knife is not exactly my most favorite. It's still growing on me, and I'm hoping that whenever I'm able to get out and actually use it, it'll start growing on me. I really hope. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to make some modifications to this hand stop here. It's just a little too abrupt. I would take probably take a Dremel tool, which I don't have one of those, but so I'd have to figure out some type of alternative. But this right here to kind of not make it so abrupt in stopping your hand, or my hand, just kind of, grinding or sanding that down just a little bit and making it a little bit more, enveloping to the hand, if that's the right word. Maybe I'll do it, not really sure. But this handle, fantastic. The handles on this PR4. Let's see here. Yeah, PR4. I'm still getting used to the name of it. I almost want to call it an RB3, which I know that's not it. That's another SE knife. Yeah. So time will tell if it will actually, grow on me. I love the look of it. It's just, so that's one of the reasons why I'm including it in this video today. Is just I love the overall combo. Just the look of it. It's just it looks very traditional, and I love that. I'm a huge fan of traditional knives, especially ones that have a historical influence, and that's yeah, like I said, that's one of the reasons why I'm showing it today. Before I show one of my all-time favorite investments, I'll show these two small ones. These are made by Essie as well. They're both Essie Izulas. They're both just small. They could pass as neck knives, but I guess you could refer to them as companions to larger blades. These smaller blades, they tend to be used for smaller, finer tasks. And I saw these and I was like, I've got to have one of those. I love the different options that you have with these. Whether you could just you can order handles like these G10, these green G10 handles on the one on the top, or you could just wrap it in paracord, and that's why that's what I have on this bottom one that has blue paracord. Blue is my favorite color, so I was like, I got black paracord, orange paracord, green paracord. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wrap it in blue. So that's what I did with this one. These I have to say, these sheaths that come with the knife aren't the best. They're really not the best. They get the job done. It's just that's pretty much what it does, and that's it. It keeps your knife from being, you having to wrap it in a piece of, I don't know, cardboard and tape, whatever, I don't know. But these little retention nubs from, you really can't see it, but these little plastic, raised plastic nubs that's used for retention of holding the knife in, wears away over time. I have learned, that this one was my first Izula, and I eventually learned that the coating that's on the blade is a bit aggressive, and over time it'll wear those retention tabs down, and your retention in the sheath won't be as good. So I figured that out, and I took I guess like a sanding block, that's like the size of a sponge, and I literally just ran over on both sides of both of these, actually, of the portion of the knife that goes over the retention nubs. That's for lack of a better term. I'm just gonna, I'm calling them retention nubs. And just kind of smooths it out a little bit to where it would minimize the, it taking any more of the material, the plastic off of those retention nubs. So, but these fantastic knives. They are 1095 high carbon steel. That's why they are coated, because high carbon steel will rust unless it is properly cared for. I mean, you can probably see on the uncoated edge on these knives, it's already started kind of, oxidizing a little bit. Thankfully, where I live in Texas, we do have pretty high humidity summers, but I'm not anywhere near the ocean. There's no salt in the air, so it's the 1095 or carbon steel knives that I have is pretty, that you just, I mean, you do keep an eye on them, but maintaining them is really not that hard, at least where I live. And anyway, these knives are fantastic for EDC use. I have EDC'd this one more than this one, just because of the low profile, the thinness of it, and just how easy it is to just yank it out of the sheath and just, open up packages, whittle a stick even if you wanted to, if you're, my mind went blank. Not buying time, just kind of wasting time, passing the time doing, just waiting and doing something. And that's what I had done numerous times with the paracord wrapped one. And I EDC'd it numerous times, and that's why I have on this one the stock belt clip just zip tied to the sheath, and this is set up for right hand carry because I'm right handed, and I would just put it in my pocket just like a folding knife and just put it in and out, and it works perfectly, and that's why I have it set up that way. They come with screws for those for this this plate that goes on there, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use zip tie. I don't want to have to worry about taking that on and off. Well, it was a lot quicker just putting those zip ties on there, and that's why I've got it on there. Fantastic knives. Essie has a smaller smaller line in this size range called the Kangaroo. But the Izula, and they've got the Izula too it's pretty much just a straight up Izula, but with a little bit longer handle. But this one is just, just perfect. It's a fantastic, small, it could be used as a neck knife. It's just awesome, just a fantastic, they're fantastic knives. And I believe Essie has come out with some other variants in 440C stainless, and just about within the last few months they came out with an S35VN variant of the Izula, and I wanted to pick one up, but I've got some high edge retention folders that I use for EDC, and I was thinking to myself, I would pretty much just be spending money on that, investing money in an S35VN version of the Izula, and I'm like, do I really want one? No. So I'm making good decisions, adult decisions, y'all. Hadn't always done that when it comes to knives and stuff, but it's happening, y'all. So, but these are awesome knives, and I highly recommend anybody that wants to pick one up, use one for an EDC, or just a piggyback on a full-size knife, camp knife, survival knife, what have you, whatever. So, but anyway, let me get a swig of water. My last knife is another knife that I grew to like and was introduced to by Chris from Prepared Mind 101 on YouTube. This was among the first knives that I remember seeing from his channel, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's weird. It's kind of like someone seeing a celebrity wearing shoes or something. They're like, ooh, I gotta have that. It's kind of interesting how it works. But with me, this is just what I have an interest in, and I was just like, ooh, I like that. I gotta have that. So the next knife I want to show you is a Becker BK7. This one is a behemoth of a survival, a survival camp, combat, all of the above, and it's crazy. It's such an awesome knife. It's a collaboration with Ethan Becker with K-Bar Knives, and that's why it's K-Bar Becker, but you call it a Becker BK7. And this sheath, you're probably thinking, is that the stock sheath? No, it is not. And I recently, within the last couple of months, was able to get one of my dream sheaths made. Excuse me. Dream sheaths made by by a Kydex maker. Excuse me. Kydex maker out of Pennsylvania. And again, this is another Prepared Mind 101 thing, and it's just, there's no telling how much products this guy, Chris Tanner from Prepared Mind 101, has sold for so many companies, just because he has bought something, had something made for him, and people are like, ooh, I gotta have that. Well, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people, and that's why I have this sheath set up. It's a Kydex sheath, and it was made by a company. The guy's name is Doug Wilson, and his company is Yellowhawk Custom Outdoors. Yellowhawk Custom Kydex, Yellowhawk, Custom Outdoors. And his work is, oh my goodness, so just, it's the best. I mean, it's incredibly rare. The fit and finish of the seams, the edges of this sheath is fantastic. And I know, that this whole video is centered around knives, but I mean, I want to talk about the sheath as well. Since I just recently, a couple of months ago, had it made and had to wait, I don't know, roughly about a month for it, which is fantastic. It's great. Usually his waiting time is 6 to 8 weeks, but he said his his waiting time was shorter for that time of year. So anyway, I'll take it out of the sheath to where you can see the actual knife. And this one is 1095 CV Krovan. I mean, I have no idea what the difference is between this one and, a 1095 Krovan or other 1095 steels. Probably just like an additive that's added to the ingredients, the makeup of the steel. And but anyway, this one the knife stock comes coated because, like I said, and just like the other knives, it is a carbon steel, and it was just like a black kind of what do you call it? Powder coated, I think I would say. Don't quote me on that, but it was very similar to a powder coated coating on the knife, and just like many other things that I had picked up on off of Prepared Mind 101's YouTube channel, he went ahead. This was like his favorite knife, like from the beginning of the channel, like 8 years ago or so. This is 2011 or 2011, excuse me, 2021, and he started his channel about 9 years ago. I want to say that, and his whole channel was just so centered around this knife. Like, this was his go-to, like, swears by it. He's going to, like, if the apocalypse happens, he's going to have a BK7. Now, not so much. He's got other knives now. Does he still like the BK7? He still loves it, but he's got other knives that he has gone with, and it's not exactly among his favorites. It's not in the front lines, if you will, but still one of those knives that's just super popular, and I had to have a custom sheath made, and because this is one of my favorites. As you can see, for anybody that actually knows this knife, this little bitty tab or part that extends down the bottom of the knife, I had it ground off because to do a little bit more up close and finer tasks with this knife, it was kind of hard to do with that little hand guard nub that was extended down. But I took the handles off and used some of my dad's tools to grind that off, and just it makes it a little bit easier to choke up on it, bring your hand up on this part of the handle and choke up on the knife if you wanted to do a little bit more finer tasks. Yes, it is a 7-inch blade, but if this was your only tool, your one tool option, then that would extend the versatility of the blade, and that's one of the reasons why I did that. There is further customization that Chris did on his channel, Prepared Mind 101's channel, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep the thumb ramp that's up there. He eventually ground that off, but I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and keep it. It kind of adds to the look of the knife, and I like the way it looks. And this just the overall look. It looks like a traditional, like kind of like a Rambo knife. I love, and even though I really haven't seen the Rambo movies, it just, that's what it looks like. It looks like Rambo would carry this knife, and I love that overall look of it, because it's got the clip point. I think that's what it's called, the clip point towards the front, and that's the combat part of the knife coming out, where it's not a sharpened point or swedge on the top, but it aids in penetration, and that's what I think. It's just got a neat look to it because of that. This knife is a fantastic batoner. The thickness is, oh goodness, I can't remember exactly what the thickness is, but it's not 1/4 inch. And I think it's thinner than .20, the same thickness of the Tops Bob Fieldcraft. But anyway, like I said when I started this video, this isn't a information video, but just showing off the different knives that I absolutely love. So this one, I believe, is my last one. So and also I want to go through real quick this little pouch, what I have in the pouch of this sheath. You can easily see this orange paracord loop. It's it's a ferro rod. It's a ferro rod, and I've got a small Leatherman Wave, which is one of my all-time favorite multi-tools. But I just I threw those in there, and was I just had to have that in there because it's just some of my favorite emergency or survival items. So yeah, anyway, that's what I have in this little pouch here, and I just had to throw that in there. I love the combo of having that there, and well, yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. Absolutely love this setup, and yeah, just wanted to show that. Well, that concludes some of my favorite fixed blade knives. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this, and well, there's my thumbs up. Yeah, there we go. All right, well, hope y'all have a blessed day. See you later. Bye bye.